It's Mooman.
Mooman?
This is not a dream.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mooman. It is Mooman on the mic.
What is going on? Thank y'all once again for tuning into the podcast. It's your man's Mooman on the mic, back with yet another episode of the Initiative Podcast. And we're getting into everything: sociology, psychology, world news, celebrity news, and WTF. Let's go. All right, so look, listen here, okay? Shout out goes to Lennar partnering with Icon, D.R. Horton, and the Pulte Group. And I'm going to tell you why that's important. Because the Genesis Collection at Wolf Ranch, Georgetown, Texas, is by far the biggest 3D printed community in the world right now, which took 2 years for them to print out. Now, this technique of 3D printing houses is at least 10 years old, at least. And it's only just been refining itself. But it's amazing because the nation is short 4 million homes right now. Now, just to give you a context of what 4 million homes being short is, that's the size of Los Angeles. All right. So this could change the game as far as homelessness. It could change the game as far as the class warfare that keeps spilling out into the streets. It's amazing. It could change the game of equity. It could change the game of equity covens that a lot of mentally disabled, racist, and prejudiced people still practice amongst their neighborhoods and every community in the nation. Shout out to Lennar partnering with Icon. Shout out to them. All right, let's get into the headline he wrote. All right, as you know, the headline he wrote is Mental Health Awareness Month, okay? The entire month, yes it is. And if you know anybody that's suffering from any mental health issues, you need to holler at them. You need to talk to them, okay? You need to discuss, sit down with them and figure out what's going on. And again, the reason why it's so important to me, I've been doing this all month, I've been doing this on every episode, is because I know so many people who are suffering from multiple different mental disorders. Even I suffer from manic bipolar behavior. You see what I'm saying? Or rather, I've been diagnosed with it. Do I suffer from it as bad as I used to? Absolutely not. Do I still grapple with it from time to time? Absolutely, and of course. But that's the point. You see what I'm saying? It's all about being aware of your mental sensitivities. And I know some people don't even want to be aware of it because who wants to say that something is wrong with them, right? But there is something wrong with you if you know that you're not practicing your emotional intelligence the way that you need to. If you know you're not practicing emotional temperance. If you know that you are lashing out and you know that you are in the wrong, you are in the wrong and you got to figure it out. And that's a fact. I mean, it affects everyone worldwide. Not everyone, but it affects most people more often than not worldwide. Shout out to those who are dealing with it, who are struggling with it, and also who are overcoming their mental health sensitivities, their mental health situations that they going on. For real, at the bottom of my heart, Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's get into the headline hunting. Okay, let's do it. Drake's Not Like Us lawsuit labeled dangerous by legal experts. Drake's Not Like Us defamation lawsuit against his own record label, UMG, has been called dangerous by a gathering of legal experts. Let me get into it. For legal scholars have warned the courts about siding with Canadian rapper and his ongoing legal action against the music giant. Why, you ask? Well, the scholars directly warned of the harms that arise when courts treat rap lyrics as confessions or factual representations. Does that sound like a familiar situation? Because they've been trying to utilize that against all of us artists since the beginning of hip-hop. They also cited that taking rap lyrics as literal statements opened the doors to racial bias and stereotypes in the courtroom. Racial bias and stereotypes in the courtroom that Drake really must not care about after losing what he started. If Drake succeeds in his action against UMG, they claim that it will be a threat to free speech and that fictional narratives are a common occurrence in hip-hop. But it is a common occurrence. I mean, these people are not being the characters that they rap about. And if some people are the characters that they rap about, and if they are using their real life experiences as a pseudepigraphica in speech form, in rhetoric form, about what's been going on in their lives, we'll never know, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it'll never be exposed. They're going to play the character of what they decided to jump into hip-hop with, right? The letter cites examples including 50 Cent, Jay-Z, Nas, and Tupac. The brief directly cites 50 Cent explaining for writing high all the time despite living a sober lifestyle. All right, and we're going to get into more of that because that is crazy. Headline hunting. Reason releases savage Joey Badass diss the dead apple amid Rayvon beef. All right, by Gabrielle Union, or by an article by Gabrielle Braz Navarez. When Joey Badass dropped the rulers back to kick off 2025, we wonder if he envisioned a diss track from Reasons down to the line. Amid other lyrical battles with Rayvon and Daylight, the former TDE signee's new diss track, The Dead Apple, is the latest challenger. Of course, we won't spoil all the topics, shots, bars, and qualities of this record in case you haven't heard it yet. Alright, the 3-part beat goes through minimal boom, bap, aggression, trap, and boisterous West Coast bounce. Okay, that sounds like you definitely got to listen to it now, just before or after you listen to this podcast. As far as a lyrical focus, the Carson native mostly disses Joey Badass by arguing he failed to keep New York's hip-hop chokehold alive. However, you may be wondering why this even came up in the first place. That's because in Joey's Badass, the finals diss track, he responds to Ray's Ho era. He name drops Reason. Okay, and if y'all haven't heard that, y'all gotta go check that out, because the cypher with Joey Badass, Big Sean, and AR Ab, that's another, you know what I'm saying, connotation to an ongoing, or rather a subtle situation that's popping up in the West Coast, East Coast tension. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar for kicking off the competition of flavor. All right, he started this whole thing off with the ruler's back, Joey Badass, which complains about too much West Coast dick licking and sought dominant lyrical competition. Now that many other West Coast artists have responded, we'll see if anyone else joins the fray. All right, so let's get something real clear here. The competition is back, ladies and gentlemen. The flavor within rap, okay, is back. All right, and mind you, everybody wants the crown. We already know who holds the crown. Kendrick Lamar holds the crown on the West Coast. All right, we already know who holds the East Coast, or who holds the East Coast crown, coming straight out of New York. That's Nicki Minaj. Okay, I mean, that's a fact. You see what I'm saying? And right now, as new gods begin to walk the earth, as old gods begin to walk the earth, as far as lyrical talent, as far as producing, digital engineering talent goes, we have yet to see the very beginnings. This is just the simmer. This is just the innuendos. We have yet to see the full-blown explosion of competition, and hopefully it remains positive. All right, a lot of people want to go to the negative. A lot of people would like to do that, but I would prefer to keep healthy competition, and there is a such thing as healthy competition. Okay, headline hunting. Meghan the Stallion fans donate money to Tory Lanez alleged stabber. Okay, Santino Casino, and this is an article by Caroline Fisher. Santino Casino is currently in prison for the murder of his 13-year-old girlfriend, who he shot in the face with a shotgun in 2002. Santino was 20 at the time of the incident. Meghan the Stallion fans, that's just to y'all. I don't know if y'all know that or not. Okay, the campaign created by a user called Alexandria Meghan, with a headline stating support Santino Casio for his service, which has already raised $336 or $3,000 as of reporting this, with a goal of $20K. That's just sad, unusual. And Meghan Thee Stallion, are you going to let your fans get away with this? Are you going to let your fans bring you into the energy of not only revenge, of attempted murder, and to tarnish your legacy of being a positive outlook within the community after your alleged experiences that's been going on, right? Is that what you're going to allow your fans to do? Since the attack, the performer's team has confirmed that he is on the road to recovery, okay? According to them, he has been moved from the Bakersfield, California area medical facility he was taken to following the stabbing back to the prison hospital. He's stabilized and can now talk and breathe on his own. At first he couldn't, getting stabbed 14 times. Okay, Lane's attorney, Jose Baez, told TMZ that the artist was staying positive despite the circumstances earlier this week. Tory is upbeat, he said. He is in good spirits, he is recovering, and he is a strong young man. He's expected to make a full recovery. And we already know that the conspiracy theories are flying out the window. A lot of people believe that it was a setup because there's new evidence coming out that he did not shoot Megan Thee Stallion, although he was convicted by a jury of his peers for open and shut evidences, even though he had no fingerprints on the gun or no DNA was inconclusive on the weapon. But still, he was still convicted. Now, the conspiracy theories, just like how I said, they're going to fly. They're definitely going to fly. But your guess is as good as mine, and only two people know the truth. The truth, Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Let's get into the back of the house headline. Okay, so the back of the house headline real quick. I want to get back into Drake. Right? I really do. I want to get back into Drake because, again, this is a serious issue. And let me read you another article from the DX Hip Hop, okay? The professors, and I know, I've said this before, but we got to get a little deep into this. The professors warn that the consequences of endorsing Drake's literal interpretation of Kendrick's lyrics would extend far beyond his case, including to the long controversial practice of using lyrics as evidence in criminal cases against rappers. When courts ignore rap music history and artistic conventions, the effect is to deny rap the status of art, and instead to flatten lyrics into literal confessions or statements of specific intent. That's written by UCI professors. This problematic treatment has introduced racial bias and unfair prejudice in countless criminal cases and has created a demonstrable chilling effect across the industry. Drake, do you understand that what you're opening is a Pandora box of racial prejudice, bias, and artistic expression being destroyed, right? Period. The use of rap music as criminal evidence has been widely criticized both because it threatens the right to free speech and can sway jurors by tapping into racial biases. You could be playing a character. 99% of rappers, R&B singers, everybody that kind of does music, they're all playing characters. And for the ones who aren't playing characters, who are being their authentic selves, we will never know unless your actions within the community shows that. And how many rappers are in the community show that their actions are valid except for a handful of few. And we're talking about giving back to the community as you say that you overcome death, dishonor, darkness within your lyrics and music and songs. Then that means you would want to spill out the opposite into the community so that kids do not walk in the same footsteps that you climbed your way out of. Okay, those are the rappers who are actually being authentically themselves, and we don't need to name them on this podcast. You can think 5 of them in the top of your head right now. Is one of them Drake? All right, moving on, okay? I mean, this is crazy to me. Over the past few years, the practice has drawn backlash from the music industry and led to efforts by lawmakers to stop it, including a landmark California statute. But it has persisted in high-profile instances, including Young Thug's gang case in Atlanta and briefly in Lil Durk's federal murder for hire case. All right, do you understand that if Drake goes forward with this lawsuit, and then you have to understand like this: what is Drake and his team going to say to justify the racial biases that's going to come from what you already lost? Okay, you're just a sore loser at this point, Drake. I'm sorry. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I understand, but you're the one who started it. If you didn't start it, I'd be on your side, but you're the one who started it by mentioning his family. Someone should have told you to rewatch the entire Fast and Furious franchise. Okay, do you understand that you should not bring family into any kind of beef that you have with anybody? You understand? Moving to dismiss Drake's lawsuit, UMG has argued that Lamar's lyrics are rhetorical hyperbole. Oh, I've jammed up that word. Rhetorical hyperbole. Hyperbole. There it is. Rhetorical hyperbole. Yes, I said it. Okay. The kind of statement that might sound bad but cannot actually be proven false, since defamation only covers false assertions of facts. Statements of hyperbole can't form the basis of such biases. Okay. Hyperbole can't be used as a basis for a factual action or criminal offense, Drake. Okay. Even if it is defamation. All right. Again, you're the one who wanted to shoot at Kendrick. You and J. Cole. J. Cole did the smart thing. You wanted to keep going because you thought you were bigger than the movement of hip hop itself. Kendrick is a product of hip hop. You are a fan of hip hop. Those are two totally different things, two totally different motives, two totally different lifestyles. And making that argument, UMG has pointed to Drake's own public support for a 2022 petition criticizing prosecutors, okay? And that's just the beginning. But as usual, this is your man's Moon Man on the mic, and I will fill y'all in on this headline and stories like this and more on the next episode. Thank y'all once again. Let's get it.
I don't mean no disrespect, but no way. I can't listen to you, I do this my own way.